Alright, how you going, guys? Welcome to part 3 in this little series of basically creating a map in Vue to start with, or if you don't have Vue and you just wanted to import a height map from the internet or something, then you just import the height map into Unreal Engine, and then we're using a splat map that we created in Photoshop to basically mask out and blend the layers that we want, like our texture layers. Okay, so for instance, your red, green, and blue, red being the top, so you want like maybe snow or something, or mountain or whatever, and the middle one like dirt or grass, and the bottom one like dirt or grass sort of thing, you know. So what I've done is I just created a new scene, and I've just deleted the bits that I don't want out of it in the scene outliner here. Okay, so firstly we'll just import that height map. Okay, so import from file. Okay, so import from file, and there's the terrain that I want. Okay, now it's 1009 by 1009, which if we have a look on our landscape sizes here, you'll see, okay, that 1009 is one of them. Okay, and so you want to try and stick to these to make sure they fit properly. Okay, alright. Excuse me. Alright, so I've done that. So it's 1009. Okay, and on the z-axis, I've just turned it down to 70, so it's not quite so high in the air. Okay, and just import that. Alright, so there's our map. Now don't worry about this black grid here. That'll be gone when you bake the lighting. So okay, so basically what we want to do first is go to game, and this is what I like to do. I just create a new folder, and I like to call this say textures, for instance, textures, and then inside there I'll create another new folder, and I'll call that materials. Okay, inside materials I'll create a material and I'll call this landscape. Okay, and I'll go back to the textures, and I'll just jump into here. Now these textures are not very good. They're only sort of 1024, and they don't tile all that well, but it's just all I had at the time. Couldn't be bothered trying to go and looking for real good ones. It's just for the sake of this tutorial, you get to see what's going on anyway. So I've got dark sand, I've made a normal, moss normal, rock normal, and the splat map. Okay, so I'll grab all them textures, and I'm just going to drag and drop them in here. Okay, and it's just going to import them. Okay, so there they are. Okay, now I'll go to landscape. Alright, double click on that. So we've got our just lock this over on the side there. Alright, so we'll go back to textures, and I want the very top layer. I want the top layer to be the rock. Okay, so we'll go to the top one, rock normal. Okay, and then the middle one can be the moss. So I'll go moss normal, and then the bottom one, what I mean by that, I mean the red, green, and blue. So the red, as I was saying, the red is the high part. So you see that's the high part. The green is like the mid, and I want the green to be the channel, alpha channel, the masking channel for the dirt. I think I got. Sorry, the moss, and then the dirt's the bottom one. So which is the blue. Okay, so now I'll get the sand. Should I say like dark sand? Okay, as the bottom one. So I'll drag that in, and then the sand normal. I'll just drop that down there. I'll just quickly, tidy this up a little bit. Sort of try and make things neat in here if you can, because it gets a bit complicated as we start running nodes everywhere. Alright, now we want to put the splat map in. Splat map we can put in the middle here. Actually, I'll just drop it over here. Okay. Come on. Alright, so now let's wait for this thing to save. It annoys me, I have to change it. Pops up all the time. Okay, mightn't dual wouldn't be so annoying if it crashes. So I suppose it's not that bad. Alright, so now we need a few things from over here in the palette. We need landscape. So the first thing we need is this one here, which is coordinates, landscape coordinates. So if I just drag that and drop it, over here. Okay, landscape we need one for the splat map, and then we would need one for everything else. Okay, I'll just grab these and move them down a little bit. Okay, now we would need another one for everything else, so I'll drag that, and that is for everything else here. Okay, so I'll just get this all in order. Okay, now we also need blend. So this blend up the top, so I'll drag one of them in. Okay, we need two of those, but I'll make the first one and then we can just copy it. Saves us having to put all the details in twice. So now we'll link them all up. So this coordinates here is for the textures. So if we just have a look here, it should be this first one. See the mapping scale just there. We want that mapping scale. You can start it around I'll sort of go for 20. The higher is the bigger it is, so you want to be further away. If you're going to be really close to it, then you make it smaller. Okay, so I'll just start off at 20 for that. Okay, and now we have to link them all up with the UVs here. So just link them all up. I'll just zoom in a bit. Okay, so this is just saying texture coordinates for all of our textures. Landscape coordinates for all our textures, sorry. Alright, so they're all hooked up. Now the landscape coordinates, we need to make sure that this is exactly what our landscape is. So I just checked that before and it's 1009. So that's also this top one here. So we'll make that 1009. So just make sure that you have that exactly the same, because this splat map obviously has to cover the whole terrain, doesn't it? So you want to make sure it's exactly right. Alright. Okay, so if it looks all weird like that, then you've done it right. That's just picking up the pixels in the corner, I think. Okay, so now what we want to do, we've got all them hooked up. Okay, texture, splat map is set, the 20. Alright, so we should be good to go so far. Okay, now what we need to do is, this is the fun bit. We need to just go in here. Okay, now layer blending. Okay, so in here we need to add 3 elements representing our 3 textures. So if I go 1, 2, 3, okay, and the first thing is we've got to name them. So our top, middle and bottom one. So the top one, an easy way just to remember what you did is if you double click and you can have a look. So rock. Okay, so back to layer blending. So the first one was rock. Okay, rock. Okay, weight, you want to put them all on height blend. Okay, and you need this here. If we have a look here, see the constrain height. Whoop, it's freaking out. Let's just have a little spasm. It doesn't like being so small by the looks of it. Okay, I'll just put it over here. I'm trying to keep this open, that's all. Alright, so rock, and the preview weight, you want to put that all of them on 0.5. I don't know why, I can't figure out why it has to be 0.5. If you put it 0.6 it won't work, if you put it 0.4 it won't work, but 0.5 it does, so I don't know. Anyway, so okay, so all of them have got to be that. So we got rock, height, blend, 0.5, they all have to be the same, except for the name of course, which the next one is our moss. So moss, okay, height, blend, 0.5. Okay, layer, the bottom one was like, what was it, dark sand, so I'll just put sand, height blend, 0.5. Okay, now if you have a look, it's got all the names there, it just makes it easy for us to know what we're doing now. So, let's move this back. Alright, so now, of course, if you took a guess, we obviously have to link up all these to the relative names. Okay, and then the height goes into what we're using for the mask, which is this height mask. Okay, so we want to put them in the same spot, or in the spot that we want them to go. Okay, so I said red, like I said I want red to be the top, green to be this one, blue to be this one. So if you have it all nice and neat like this, it's pretty straightforward. Just to grab it, and we'll put the layer to the rock, and we want the rock to be on red. Okay, get the next one, we want that one, which is the moss, and we want the moss to be on green. Okay, then we want this one, which is the dirt, sand, and we want it to be masked to the blue. Okay, alright, so now if we can now link that together, put it on the base color. Okay, and just leaving it like that, I haven't hooked up these yet, but if we leave it like that for now, we just come over here and we hit apply. If everything goes well, hopefully it should at least look, well actually first I've got to put it on there first, so if I go and drag it on, okay, so it's just making the shaders. So, and then next, while that's just doing that, as you can see, if I can just, probably not going to let me, here we go. Alright, so and then now what we need to do is, while that's going, we can grab this one here, and because we've put all that information in, saves us having to obviously do it all over again. We can just copy that, so control copy, control paste, and then we can then just do exactly what we did there with this one now, and then we can hook that up into the normal. Alright, so it's the same procedure. Okay, so we need to, I'll just put this up a little bit. Alright, so red goes into the rock, green goes into the height moss, blue goes into the, whoops, I did that wrong, it's got to go into the height sand. So height, height, height for our mask. Okay, and then of course we can just bring this out into the leftover bits that we got left over. Okay, alright, so got little bits pieces happening everywhere, but it's really pretty straightforward. Okay, and then of course that just goes straight into the normal. Alright, so if we just have a look first, as you can see, like I said, my textures aren't that good, but you know, it's sort of blended them, which is pretty cool. Alright, so we can now just go apply, and then that'll give it some normal values, which will sort of bring it out, of course, a little bit, make it a little bit sexier. So we'll just let that happen. Oh, I might just, I was going to pause, but by the time I pause, it'll probably be done. I won't worry about it. Alright, so as you can see anyway, it's starting to get some height information. Okay. Alright, so you can sort of see what's going on anyway. The sort of moss, you've got your sand sort of thing, and then if we go up and we see we've got the rock up here, so the rock formation, like I said, and you've got the normal, so the normal doesn't look too bad, and it blends nice actually, considering that we just sort of makeshifted it, in Photoshop, so it's pretty cool. But as you can see, it's not, when you're up high, you can see the textures I've got are not, excellent, but they look nice when you're close. Now they could probably do with being actually, that's one thing that we can do. They could do with probably being turned down a little bit, and the gloss is pretty high. So what we can do is just go back to here, and there's two quick little things we can do. I'll just open it right up this time. Okay, now what you can do is if you hold down one, press, and then press again, and with this constants here, I think that's what they're called, we can just put one into the specular, and then we'll put one into the roughness. Okay, and then we'll turn so it can only be 0 and 1, so 0 being black off and 1 being fully on, and then 0.5 being in between, grey. So if we go, hey, it is a constant. So if we go for the specular, just go like 0.5 for the specular, because grass is a little bit specular, maybe not that much, but see what happens. And roughness, I'll put the roughness to 1, and that should bring the specular down. Okay, but you can play around with these, 0.5 perhaps. Okay, I'll move this down and then apply. Okay, get this up. Alright guys, so I've just touched it up a little bit. Just gave it a couple of post-process, and I just touched up the textures a little bit, just made them a bit darker and that. Yeah, but you can see the results anyway. So as you can see, we've got our sort of dirt here, our dark sand, and then we've got our grass, and then we've got our rock, and it's sort of blended in fairly nice with that splat map, as you can see. Alright, so well, I hope you enjoyed this final tutorial, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment and thumbs up for me, that'd be great. And yeah, just have a little flyby before we finish, just so you get to see what's going on. Alright, well thanks again, and please leave a thumbs up, and ciao for now.